Morning, everybody. Thought I'd do a quick video this morning. Nothing else to do. Woke up a little early. 3:35. Oh, there it is. So, the newest, the latest, the greatest. I played golf for the second time in the last couple of weeks. Yesterday, not hurting too bad this morning. Hurting, but not bad. Played good. Won some money again. I found a little group. They just don't play for enough money. I'll play with them now and then, but they just don't play for enough money. I'm going to give them a couple of chances. See if they got a few guys in there that are willing to bet 50, 100 bucks a round or something. We'll see. It's just no fun unless you got real stakes. It's fun. That's all. It's still fun. But it's different when you got $5 on the line or $50. It makes a difference. But I'm playing good. Playing good. Chipping and putting needs a little work. Of course, my accuracy needs a little work. Leaving things out to the right a little bit. But it was a good day. A really good day. I was pleased with my performance. Now, you hear the old adage about stuff that it's like a bicycle, you never forget. And golf swing is an embedded thing. And thank gosh, I've still got it up here. As long as it can still translate here. But that's my golf thing. Went to my neurologist yesterday, got a 6 different supplements they want me to try. And they're natural. They're not pharmaceuticals. Weirdest thing, she said I have a really high level of copper in my blood. First time I'd ever heard that. And I had copper in my blood. We all have some. She says like 5 to 10% by volume type thing. I guess the way they measure it is normal. She said I was like 65%. I said, are you sure I didn't just pee over a penny that day or something? That's weird. That's high. First one of the day. But yeah, my B6, my B12, what else? My copper, my folate. Oh, a couple more things on this panel, metabolic panel. Wasn't good. So here we go. Try something else. But had a couple of quick videos I was gonna show. So here we go. Let's start this one.
George Orwell introduces the concept of the thought crime. The thought crime is enforced by what Orwell calls the thought police. In the state of Oceania, you've got omnipresent surveillance, you've got telescreens, you've got microphones and cameras, and people are being monitored for what they think And the thought police is enforcing this orthodoxy on behalf of whom? On behalf of the state, the regime, what Orwell calls Big Brother. Now, we have thought crime in the United States, but it occurs not directly through the state, but on behalf of the state. And it occurs through these massive social media platforms. And now I want to focus in on one of them, namely Facebook, one of the worst of them, by the way. Now, I've had a sort of precarious existence on Facebook. Most of the time, I am either demonetized or my distribution is restricted. And it's important to know I've got well over 2 million followers on Facebook. And most of them don't see my posts because Facebook is, in a sense, strangling me on its platform.
Amazon employees earn at least $15 an hour, but $15 is just the start. That
Stinking.
And
commercials.
Facebook has put out rather brazenly lots of topics that are sort of out of bounds, or at least there are certain things you can't say about them that make effective debate, legitimate debate on these topics, effectively impossible. And this is an ever-growing list. It started out with one or two. You can talk about election fraud. You can talk about certain things about COVID. And now it's election fraud, and it's COVID, and it's the trans, and it's climate change, and it's abortion, and it's on, and raising the question, what can you discuss freely? Now, Facebook's mechanism of censorship is fact-checking. They have this army of fact-checkers, outside organizations that they sort of ally with. For example, on climate change, Facebook is allied with a group that is apparently called Climate Feedback / Science Feedback. It's a Facebook partner, and they supply, if you will, fact checks of statements made on Facebook. And Facebook is really clear that even if you write an op-ed, a piece of opinion, they're going to fact check it. And they're going to, if they discover that you're sort of presenting misinformation, as they call it, they'll give you strikes, they'll give you warnings, they will demonetize your page. In some cases, they will threaten to unpublish you, which is essentially to shut down your page. Now, recently, I appeared on Fox. I did a segment on the Ingram Angle, and I posted the segment on Facebook. It was a discussion of Kyle Rittenhouse, and I made the argument that Rittenhouse was defending himself. And Facebook gave me a strike. I'm now going to read from their strike. Your page is at risk of being unpublished and has reduced distribution and other restrictions. It says that, quote, your post goes against our community standards on dangerous individuals and organizations. Now, it might seem from this that I was somehow advocating violence or promoting some dangerous groups. Nothing is further from the truth. All I was doing is defending Kyle Rittenhouse. And Facebook had structured their fact check so that alone, the defense of Rittenhouse was, quote, the defense of a dangerous individual. See, Facebook had bought into the narrative, the lies about Kyle Rittenhouse, and there are many of them. I mean, here's the interesting point. If on Facebook, in all the months leading up to the Rittenhouse trial, you said that Rittenhouse was a white supremacist, for which there's no evidence, Facebook wouldn't strike you. If you said that he chased Rosenbaum and Huber, Facebook wouldn't strike you. If you said that he had an illegal gun, Facebook wouldn't strike you. If you said that he shot without provocation, Facebook wouldn't strike you. If you said he was a dangerous vigilante, Facebook wouldn't strike you. So Facebook is good with all these now documented lies. And Facebook even admits in retrospect that their claim that Kyle Rittenhouse is dangerous is also a lie. In fact, it's a lie that was disproven in court and discredited by the jury, which vindicated Rittenhouse. So here's how Facebook, these deceitful characters, when I protested this strike against my page, I want to now read from their investigation because it's so telling. After investigation, it appears that this post was correctly removed according to our policies at the time, says Facebook. Then they go, since the verdict in Kenosha, we rolled back the restrictions we had in place. They say, we will no longer remove content containing praise or support of Rittenhouse. So you might think, well, okay, fine. So now you've cleared up the matter. You've come to realize that Rittenhouse is not dangerous. But here's Facebook's fallback, quote, since this was posted and removed before the verdict / policy change, the content will not be restored. I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. So this is Facebook. Now, I'm not here just to plead my own special case. I mean, I think it's illuminating because it basically shows how corrupt these people are. They're essentially without scruples, without any decency or morals. But they've also been caught out by John Stossel. John Stossel apparently has filed a lawsuit against Facebook, claiming that Facebook's strike against him. Facebook apparently did a fact check on Stossel's claims about climate change. They relied on some checking by this group called Climate Feedback. And Stossel said that you've defamed me. You've maligned me. You've essentially libeled me. Why? Because you have falsely asserted that I was wrong, and you have given public notice of this. And in fact, I'm not wrong. I'm right. So let's see what the facts really are. Now, here's where things get really interesting. In its legal defense, what Facebook says, I can read from this, is that they say that our fact checkers aren't really fact checkers at all. Facebook basically goes, you can't hold us responsible for maligning you, because in order to malign you, we would have had to make a factually erroneous statement about you. But our fact checking is merely a statement of opinion. In fact, they say not only is our fact checking a statement of opinion, the fact checking we get from outside groups like the Climate Feedback is also a matter of opinion. So let's step back. Here we go. The conclusion, I guess they had put a quote missing context claim on John Stossel. They go, the conclusion that the video was missing context is necessarily a judgment call, one that is not capable of verification or refutation by means of objective proof. And then Facebook goes on to say that the suit should be thrown out because, after all, fact checkers aren't really fact checkers. So this is delicious stuff, because it blows up the whole Facebook model. The whole idea that Facebook is removing misinformation. Facebook is now saying, well, that's not misinformation. That's information we disagree with. That's information, that is opinion that clashes with our opinion, and we want only our opinion to be on Facebook. So it is so interesting that the whole claim of fact-checking is being exposed in court as a farce and as a fraud. And what Facebook has really been doing, it turns out, is making false claims about its product. I mean, it's almost like they should be sued now for false advertising, because Facebook is telling its viewers, its customers, so to speak, that we are doing fact-checking. We're actually presenting factual information on Facebook, and now they're saying in court to another audience, we're really not doing that. Now, I want to emphasize how important all of this is and how much it shows that we should not play the role of the wildebeest. So many of us like, yeah, we'll keep going on Facebook. Yeah, I don't see Dinesh's posts that much anymore. I'm just going to wait until the lion comes and eats me. No, we need to be proactive. And what proactive means for you is, I'm not saying get off Facebook or get off Twitter, but install yourself on all.
Pretty interesting, huh? Pretty interesting. That's pretty bad when Facebook is pressed on it. They go, hey, man, our fact checkers aren't real fact checkers. The fact that we fact checked you and took your post down, just, they said it should come down, and that's their opinion. We can't stop that. Whatever, man. Whatever. Well, and I guess, what is this going to be that I know of? John Stossel, if this is happening, would be first journalist I've heard of that's actually suing him for, hey, I put out a story. You said it was BS. Hey, T-Ball, you say it's BS. Well, here are the facts, man. Oh, wow, our fact checkers aren't really fact checkers. That's their opinion, and since you didn't provide the proper context, then you're wrong. That's crazy. That is the thought police. That is 2 + 2 is 5. No, here's the facts. No, we checked the facts and they're right, but you're wrong. Isn't that crazy? Let's see. Here's another one I wanted to check out. This guy's got some pretty good stuff, man. I just ran across him a week ago or so. He's got some pretty good content usually.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Over here at the Ghost 16, once again, looking at developing severe weather. We've been following a bizarre weather pattern that's been producing one atmospheric river after another. And you can see the setup here in the Central Plains. You've got warm air colliding with cold air. Once again, unseasonably warm air for December is colliding with the typical cold air of December, and it's creating severe weather conditions. Over here at Gizmodo.com, article dated today, December 15th of 2021, talking about dangerous high winds are coming to the U.S. We're going to come back to this article here in just a moment, but you can see the classic setup. The blue is the cold air, the light orange and yellow is the warm air. The collision is right there in the center, and that's where the high winds are currently at. We're going to come back and take a look at that here in just a moment. Right now, I want to take you guys down to the Philippines, looking at a rare December typhoon. This is going to make landfall as a Category 2 storm in the next 24 to 36 hours directly into the center of the Philippines. And this is rare. You don't normally see typhoons in the month of December. It's not completely unheard of, though, especially in the Western Pacific. Here's some different views of this rare cyclone. And to me, the way I follow cyclones is like I follow the angle of the sun. When the sun goes below the equator, so do the cyclones. And that's typically how the cyclone and hurricane seasons run, at least from what I've noticed. Below the equator, the cyclone season is right now underway in the Australia area and down here in the Indonesia area. Above the equator is when we have hurricane season, which goes from June to November. The sun angle is now down here around the 20-degree south latitude. And to have a hurricane up here at the 10-degree north latitude, at least to me, is way out of bounds. But then again, the Western Pacific can have typhoons at any time of the year, but to be this far above the equator, in my humble opinion, that is very rare. You don't see those very often. So if you're in the Philippines, big heads up for a Category 2, quite possibly a Category 3 at one time. That was labeled as a Category 3 storm. Looking at the situation over here in the United States, you can already see more power outages starting to accumulate as a result of the high winds. 28,000 in California, 4,000 in Utah. At one point this morning, we had 5,000 customers in Arizona without electricity, 15,000 in New Mexico, 15,000 Texas, 4K Oklahoma, 40,000 at one time in Nebraska, 53,000 in Colorado, 13,000 Kentucky. That's from the tornadoes, 3,000 in North Carolina, well over 100,000 customers without electricity. I'm going to show you guys now where the high...
Step 1, feel the stress of the day subside. Step 2, enjoy quality time with quality
are currently at and where they are potentially going. You can see here above Colorado and New Mexico, winds right now in the 90-mile-an-hour range, 95-mile-an-hour gusts on the New Mexico-Colorado line. That white you see right there is anywhere from 90 to 100-mile-per-hour gusts right now as I do this video, and this is according to windy.com. The overall big picture, you can see it spans multiple states in through Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, up into Kansas. And this is going to move to the northeast over the next 2 or 3 days. The purple and light blue, as you can see right here, represent 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts in between 70 and 80 mile an hour. And that covers a wide area. I want to show you guys where this weather is headed over the next couple of days. It's going to move northeast up through Iowa. Right now you're looking at Thursday, 3 a.m. The bulk of this is going to be up in the Wisconsin area, moving into Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota, and then all day Thursday through the northern central plains up into Canada, into the Ontario area and Quebec. And that is a very large wind field. It's going to be around for the next 24, quite possibly 36 hours. Now coming over to VentureSky.com, getting a closer look at some of these wind reports coming out of the Colorado area. You see a wide range of 90s spanning anywhere from southern Colorado all the way up to northern Colorado in the north central area. West of Loveland, 91 mile an hour. West of Boulder, 90 miles an hour. Just an unbelievable wind field right now. And again, these winds are moving northeast rather quickly, but this system is going to be moving across the Central Plains and could bring more power outages to an even wider area as the day progresses and these winds move from west to east. I don't think there'll be a large tornado outbreak like we saw the other day, But then again, that was unexpected too. It's the same type of weather setup that we saw the other day back on the 10th and the 11th. So don't let your guard down. If you're in these areas where the high winds are currently underway, looking at the Fort Collins area, looking at 92 mile an hour west of Fort Collins, that would be right now as I do this video. Just incredible. I want to show you guys some bizarre photos that came from this very storm system as it was above Southern California and northern Arizona. This would be from yesterday, December 14th of 2021. I just kind of called it freak sky because some of these clouds you're going to see are quite weird. This was above Victorville, California. Photos sent in by Isaiah's granny out of Victorville. Get a load of that, would you? She took that photo as she was driving down the road as this one cloud, and this wasn't a tornado, just felt like it had to come down and almost touch the ground. How about that? That is one bizarre sky. Again, these photos were taken on December 14th of 2021 from over in California. That is another bizarre photo of a very weird cloud that just came down out of the sky all by itself. There was no other clouds that did it except this one that looks like a classic funnel cloud or the beginnings of a funnel cloud, but it was not. Brandy Moss sent in this photo of another cloud diving down out of the sky. Looks like a big mothership coming in for a landing. Here's another photo by Laura Chavez. I've got a different angle of that same sky that you just saw. This was at a slightly different time and a slightly different angle. You can tell by the color. Vanessa sent in this photo of the same one Isaiah's granny saw. Looks like a vortex starting to come down out of the sky. Luckily it wasn't. Michelle noticed the same exact one that Isaiah's granny saw, just at a slightly different time because you can tell by the color. I don't know how long it was in the sky. And once again, those photos are part of this storm system that's moving across the Central Plains right now that is producing winds in excess of 90 miles per hour and in some cases nearly 100 miles per hour. And that's what they're talking about over here at Gizmodo.com. And they go on to say the conditions that will drive the winds are similar to the ones that caused Friday's tornado outbreak. Freak heat over the Midwest and South and a storm screaming out of the West. Temperatures could be as much as 38 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than normal, and dozens of records could fall from Texas to Wisconsin. All in all, 51 weather stations are forecast to tie or beat daily records today from the National Weather Service. The warm air out in front of the storm system will essentially act as a magnet, pulling the cold air toward it, unleashing a wild windstorm. Winds could be anywhere from 50 to 60 up to 100 miles per hour, as we're already seeing right now in the Colorado area, and that's showing up over here at poweroutage.us in the form of a multi-state power outage event once again. So if you guys are in the path of this storm, these high winds, be ready for possible power outages and a multitude of high winds and wind gusts, anywhere in the neighborhood of 80, quite possibly clear up to 100 miles per hour. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe.
So that's crazy, huh? All these crazy high winds. What do you do? They say, no. We have people that have been manipulating our weather for a while. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never had anything taken down off of Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook for almost 2 hours. What are we doing? I played golf yesterday and I was tired. I went to bed like 8:30 last night. I woke up at around 3:30 and went, huh, I guess I'm awake. And so I got up. Thought I'd do a quick little video. What are you doing? Have you had a nightmare? That sucks. Now, was it like a chick nightmare, like you're having a bad hair day and you just couldn't get it fixed? Or like you're being chased by a guy with a chainsaw? Yeah, it's two different kinds of nightmares in this world. Your definition of a nightmare. But we all see it different, don't we? But yeah, the whole Facebook deal. Yeah, I logged off well over a month ago. And I think in my messenger, I had a few deals where my daughter had put up photos, and I went and looked at Lulu and gave them a like. But otherwise, I hadn't been posting nothing. I got off Twitter. I got off Facebook. Just done with it. Done with it. And it really is so funny how little, when you step back out of the fray, you just kind of try and take in the whole perspective. There's very little truth that gets out there. Very little. It's really, really getting scary. It's been scary for quite a while. Now they're ramping it up. It's getting scarier. It's just wow. I I like the comedian Jim Brewer, and he's got a Facebook deal where he's now put out, I think he's up to 5 podcast type deals, live streams like we do here. A real one. Oh, don't watch that stuff. That's bad vibrations, Vic. Don't watch that stuff. That's bad vibrations. I can't watch that stuff. You know, the cruelty of man to each other is just, ugh. Yeah, that's bad stuff. I just quit. I just quit going on Facebook and Twitter and about just the news that gets out. Pretty weak. And when you see the source of stories and then you go watch the mainstream take on it, wow, they sure can play word salad. It does. That stuff, man, I try not to watch that. That's bad vibes. Oh, you know, some of the crazy things people do. And if I remember correctly, most of those things, it's over money or sex. They call them crimes of passion. Crimes of passion, right? Watched an interesting interview yesterday with Adam Carolla. Had on the 90s model Adrienne Curry. You remember her? She won the first America's Top Model. It was a pretty interesting story. She right out of the bat, out of the box, married one of the Brady Bunch guys right out the bat. As soon as she hit fame, bam, she got married to a famous person. And she said that didn't last long. That was done. She learned. She learned a tough lesson from that. And it was funny. She said it was so weird that celebrities, whether it be rock star, movie star, whatever, would have their managers call her manager to see if she wanted to go on a date or to see if she would walk a red carpet at some event. And she said she never did that because she knew if you go walk a red carpet with this person, people are going to say, oh, are they sleeping together? So she didn't never do it, she said. And I don't remember her having any controversies. But one of the funniest things was she said it seemed like as soon as she hit like 25 years old, all of a sudden, it was almost weekly, there was a millionaire or a billionaire's person contacting her manager going, yeah, hey, I'm interested in her. Yeah, I'm interested. I'd like to meet her. And, you know, and she said they were all pretty honest, you know, like to have children with you, breed you, and put you up, you know, for the rest of your life. And she said it's almost like it's their thing. Okay, you know, hey, go find me a 25, 30-year-old model and have some kids. And, you know, if the marriage lasts more than a couple of years, fine. If it doesn't, fine. I'll give her several million. She'll live on half the hog the rest of her life, whatever. But she said it was just so weird that it was almost expected that when these people called up, you're like, sure, I'll go out with that multi-millionaire guy. But But she wasn't like that, and she said she ended up marrying a true mountain man. That the guy was like, he's like 6'6", 250 pounds. That, you know, he comes from the mountains and they live in the mountains of Montana, and he's 100% mountain man. He's got his whole compound set up he's off the grid completely. She said they live far enough off the grid that it's an hour to the nearest town, hospital, whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. And she said, "Hey, I come from blue collar roots, and I realized you need a real man. When you have a real man, then a woman can fulfill her appointed role without feeling oppressed by it. That a wife, a mother, and a husband, father, they have their roles." And I thought it was pretty enlightening that somebody coming from that area of life sees the world that way. But I was talking about Jim Burr. He, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was doing an interview on a radio station, small radio station. I want to say in the Northeast somewhere. He's on tour right now. And they were asking him about the jab and all that. And he said, well, you know, I've been thinking about it and talked to my wife and, you know, manager and everything. And I'm not going to do venues that have mandates on the jab or any mandates at all. I'm just not going to do them. He says, I'll find places that don't have any restrictions. And it was just kind of blunt. That was it. Man, next thing he knew, boom, that blew up. It went viral. And the cool thing is he has a guy that's touring with him. And he goes, man, he goes, you're a witness, right, Brian? He says, up to like 2 or 3 days ago, when we come out for a show, it's like, and now Jim Burr, and you know, it's an applause, and he starts the show. He said, then all of a sudden, oh, nice, T-Bone. He says, man, then all of a sudden, like 2 nights ago, they go, and now Jim, and they don't even get my name out, and it's just, wah, wah. He says, it's crazy. He says, I walk out, and the guy's like, he's not kidding. It's like a 2-3 minute standing ovation of just, wah. You know, just people have gone nuts over this, and they're like, he's like, man, I can't believe it. He said, these people, it's a whole new crowd of people. They don't know my comedy. They don't know my movies. They just saw that I said no more. And they're like, I'm with him. He said, and it's just, he said, it's crazy cool. At the last 2 or 3 shows, the crowd is just different. They're just like, yeah, we're with you, man. And I thought that was great. And his friend that's with him, he's like, hey, man, he said, even for me, you know, they're cheering different. And he says, you know, I'm the opening guy. Not many people know me. He says, but, you know, now that they've seen the live stream and they've seen the viral where he said, no more venues with restrictions. He said, it's just gone nuts. You know, and it's, what do you do? When they won't let you make your own decisions, what do you do? Hey, Gluff. Oh, yeah. He's pretty open about it. But what do you do? Like many people have pointed out, they go, hey, you got a choice. You can choose not to take it and you can't go to the show. Or you can choose to take it and you can go to all the shows you want. You have choices. That's their twisted logic. They're twisted. It's so sick. It's so sick. I think I've seen that one. I think so. I've seen quite a few of his interviews. But we, You know, what kind of world do we live in when people accept that kind of stuff? That, hey, you know, you got choices. You can't go here unless you make the right choice. You know, usually choices are, yeah, that's up to me. I get to pick the good or the bad one. Now they're telling me which one I have to pick. Oh, you think so, T-Ball? 2 Corinthians 4:4. I'm not 100% up on that, but I've got my Bible right here. I've got a eye doctor appointment, but it wasn't till January, like 5th, and it's a drag. I can't see, especially fine print like this. I'm needing my glasses. This isn't fair. All right, he says 2 Corinthians 4:4. Okay, let me see. I gotta grab. Hang on, 7. I gotta sit up. I've got a pair of Alex's old glasses I found in the drawer that work as cheaters. 4:4. Let's start with 3. It means very little to me that you or any human judges should examine me. I don't even examine myself. I don't know of anything that is against me, but that doesn't make me righteous. Right? All this wicked stuff just helps. Just helps our righteousness if we stick to the path, right? Now, 7, stop. Good Lord. She's always wanting to be where I don't want her to be. Let's see, she'll go outside. Go outside. Go outside. You'll go outside. Good. You know, and you know, for some people, they can't see the good for the evil, or respond to evil or to good because they don't understand. Other people, I believe, do it because they know they're totally against the light, right? The narrow path. They're not interested. And they're open and honest about it. And then other people, we know they're cognitive dissidents, you know, the herd mentality. You know, everybody just wants which way's the wind blowing. I want to stay down out of the radar. I don't want to stick out. I don't want to be questioned. I don't want to have to stand for anything. I think that's one of the saddest things in these times right now, is there's so many people who stand for nothing but stand for everything. You know what I'm saying? When you press them on any issue, they're like, well, okay, fine. I don't know that much about it. I just, okay. But, you know, until you press them on it, they're like, yeah. Then you go, why do you do that? What do you know about it? Well, you know, yeah, the ones that know and don't. Whoa. It's simpler than that. Yeah, sure. I mean, life, it is truth versus lies. What's true and what's not. And so many people, I don't know what it is about truth, but they just don't care for it. You know, they've got this fantasy. I don't know. They got this warped, twisted view of the world, and they think, you know, that men gathered together in small groups, big groups, individually, are going to come along and fix things for you. they don't. They don't go. If I want my way better, I've got to do it. No, they just sit back and, you know, just follow the trend. And people say, "Hey, this is the newest thing, and it's good." And they go, "Yeah, okay, it's good. It's good. I'll stick with it." You know, well, they don't know. The long-term effects. A guy did a real good deal on the kids from ages, I think they said 3 to 6 during this time. That going forward from 2019, when it all first started, you know, in December, started being put out there. If you're around 3 years old to 6 years old, and now going forward, they're saying the long-term effects on those kids is just, it's going to be interesting to see what that little group of people do as they go forward, because it would look like with them that they would definitely end up being very afraid of everything. And it just broke my heart this whole time. You walk through a retail store, I don't care where it is, and you saw a mom dragging a kid with a mask on, and that look in those kids' eyes, just looking around at everybody like, what is going on? You know, it's this isn't normal. You know, a month ago, I wasn't this way. Now all of a sudden it's a whole new thing. What's going on? You know, and a parent that puts a mask on a kid cannot give him a proper explanation other than, I'm doing it because I'm stupid. I'm just dumb. I don't know any better. I'm gonna do what I'm told, son or daughter. You know, mommy and daddy, we don't know. We're dumb. We just, whatever the TV tells us. If you want to know why we do it, watch the TV like we do. And that's scary. Very, very scary. So what's coming, guys? Something big's coming. It's just too quiet out there. Way too quiet. Something's building. First of the year, Christmas. You know, these storms. Are they manufacturing, you know, these storms for us? And, you know, what's going on? What's going on, man? Gog and Magog. Yeah, buddy. And is it not looking more and more and more like technology and money? That the inflation. Oh my God, look what's happening with our money. Oh, geez. And the technology, they're, you know, this whole metaverse they're creating. They're already starting to sell sites and avatars and all this. Y'all seen the movies where they slap on their hood and boom, they're in a city, and then going to a mall or a restaurant. And they've already got deals. I saw a deal where they said Nike's already setting up a virtual store where your virtual character can go in there and buy some of their products. So when they're seen in the virtual world, they're wearing the proper brand. And sure, they got to go to a one world currency so they can control everybody with one entity. You know, this whole different currencies made them a lot of money. It was a really good way for them to cobble their individual stacks, you know, to just use as a tool, you know, in the markets. But now they've come to decide, okay, there's only about a dozen or 2 dozen of us here, so we'll go to one currency. We'll all share all that. Well, they don't really share. There's always the one that has the most. Money's been alive forever. The whole concept of money, usury, was brought into light by our good friends, the chosen ones. The chosen ones. I don't know. Dude, man, they've been running around buck naked for how long? They ain't had no clothes. My whole life, they hadn't had no clothes. I still remember as a kid, the old black and white news on TV, congressional hearings, people were going down. They're cleaning up the government every decade, same thing. Bam, this happened. Oh, we're going to have hearings. Oh, Senate and congressional hearings. And then nothing. Decade later, you hear, oh, yeah, that finally wrapped up. $60 million later for a handful of lawyers. And they go, we're going to do some policy changes. Yeah, we're going to do some policy changes. You were born in double nickels. So, yeah. You're 11 years older than me, T-Ball. So, yeah, you were just heading into your teen years, and I was being born, and shit was going down, man. Shit was going down. And what's funny now is that they're really not hiding anything anymore. They get busted all the time. They control the media. If you only let one voice out of 20,000 speak, nobody's going to listen. I love the way they rail against Fox News. And Fox News rails against them. It's just, you got to be honest. At least, Fox News, they at least try to tell it like it is, and and especially when it's so blatant against these people, it's hard to miss it, right? It's hard to not show the proof right there. But the left is so good about these allegations are unfounded. These people are just, they're Trump supporters. Man, they gonna ride Trump. How long are they gonna ride him? Yeah, lots of changes for the worst, right? Lots of changes for the worst. Nothing's got better in my lifetime. I know that much. But yeah, you think about the way they propagandize this now. Yeah, I can't listen to those Jen Psaki news conferences, man. I just can't do it. They cannot answer a question yes or no. They cannot give an answer of yes, and it's because of A, B, and C, or no, it's because of A, B, or C. It's always this. What was the question? By the time they're done with the answer, it has nothing to do with the question that was just asked. And you can't get a straight answer out of them. You just can't. You just can't. I was watching a Ted Cruz deal where he was grilling a judicial nominee of Biden's, and she had in her career only ever litigated against the death penalty. She was always, a lawyer for these cases, fighting against the death penalty. And now she's, wants to be a federal judge. And he says, well, are you for or against the death penalty? And she's like, well, I don't have a opinion on it. I just, if the case comes before me and, death penalty is on the table, I'll follow the law. And he goes, but you never You've never had a death penalty case. And she says, well, she tries to parse words and talk legalities. And if the prosecutors even went for the death penalty, which she would never admit that, it's up to the judge. If the judge sees it and the judge goes, this is death penalty case right here. And also petitions, you take petitions from the plaintiffs going, hey, this is death penalty because, but she didn't take these things, and he kind of nails her on it. And she's able to just not answer, and she runs out the clock, and he goes, well, okay, for the record, can we put it down that she's not answered one question? I've asked her many questions, many different ways, and she's not answered one. And that's what they do. That's what they do. 7, you've got to stop. You're not going to go in there and wake her up. You just get over here and be a dog. Lie down on your comfy little space and shut up. It's just my dog. 7. Stop. But that was me. I got up early. I still hadn't heard anything from Ella. Has anybody heard anything from Ella? I saw a couple of her videos, but we need to get a lowdown. We need to get a lowdown and see how they're doing over there. Oh. Well, it's 51 minutes. I think I'll cash in. Guys, thanks for being here. Y'all have a blessed day. Good vibrations. Can't think of the word. And be good to your neighbors. Y'all know it. All right, discernment and good vibrations. Y'all take care. Love you all.